I'm Stacy LeBaron, and this is another edition of Chelsea Hubcats. Today, our guest is Megan Teodosio and Kermit, little Kermit on the table there of Broken Tail Rescue. We have our regular guest here also, Laura Appleton, my partner in crime, and a member of our outreach committee for Hubcats Chelsea. Chelsea Hubcats is a nonprofit organization that was founded about a year and a half ago to focus on the needs of cats within the city. We assist with free spay-neuter programs, vaccination, and microchipping clinics, and rescue, and that's for cats and dogs. For more information about our organization, you can go to www.hubcatschelsea.com or find us on Facebook and join the team to really make a difference helping cats and dogs in Chelsea. Our phone number is 857-776-2287, and our email is hubcatschelsea@gmail.com. On today's show, we'd like to focus on the work of Broken Tail Rescue and how they've partnered together with us and what Megan has done to help really facilitate a great relationship between Hubcats Chelsea and Broken Tail Rescue. And we also want to share a bit about the story of Kermit, our special guest today. Megan, first, welcome to the show, and I was wondering if you might share a little bit about your own personal background and how you got interested in helping cats.
Sure. Thank you for having me here, Stacy. I have been working in cat rescue for about the past 10 years. About 3 years ago, I started working with Broken Tail, and I mostly started out fostering and started doing more and more, as often happens in cat rescue, and now I'm the cat coordinator there. So I run our adoption center that is in the Cambridge PetSmart at Fresh Pond, and I'm also in charge of our foster homes.
What's a cat coordinator do?
So I oversee our adoption center where we have all of our adoptable cats and make sure that they're healthy, that the volunteers who tend to them every day, multiple times a day, know what they're doing, and we all communicate. If there's any health needs of any of the cats there, I organize getting them to the vet. And then I also oversee the foster homes, so I know which cats are in the fosters at which time, and I stay in touch with the foster homes to make sure that the cats are doing well there. And then when they need to be adopted, helping them get in touch with the adopters and facilitating the adoption.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It's a ton of work.
I'm thinking, do you have another job too?
Oh, I do. I have a great team of volunteers, though. Broken Tail is really lucky to have a huge volunteer army to draw from, and I couldn't do this without them. So I have volunteers that help me process all the applications, and we have volunteers that come in twice, sometimes even 3 times a day to tend to the cats at our adoption center, which is huge.
Why is it important for folks to adopt a cat or a kitten from a shelter or a rescue rather than from another resource?
Like
a breeder, or online, or a breeder, or the variety. There is friends and family too.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, there's a few different reasons. But every time you adopt a cat from a shelter or a rescue, you're saving a life. You're saving that cat's life, and then you're also making it possible for us to save another cat. Since millions of cats are still euthanized in our country every year, every time we can get a cat adopted, we make room to save one more that won't be put to sleep. So that is important. Broken Tail also really prides itself on taking in cats that are in danger of being put to sleep, things like older cats, or maybe cats that have a medical need like diabetes. So those cats are at risk of being put down, and also often we'll get them from the vet when the owner has maybe brought the cat in to be put to sleep for that reason, and we'll be able to step in and say, no, we can take this cat, and then the cat gets saved from being put to sleep, and we can get it adopted. But also, when you adopt a cat from a rescue or a shelter like Broken Tail, like MSPCA, you are getting a cat that has been spayed or neutered, has been vaccinated, has been seen by a vet and treated for any fleas or worms, been tested for cat diseases. So while there is an adoption fee that people pay to adopt those cats, you're saving a lot of money versus how much you would pay if you just got a cat from Craigslist or a friend, and none of that medical care was done. You would end up spending much more money, much more by hundreds of dollars for a healthy cat just to get those basic medical things done. And that's not even counting if that cat turned out to have some kind of sickness or disease that you didn't know about because the cat wasn't seen by a vet. And then you could potentially be facing, thousands of dollars in expenses. Whereas all cats adopted from shelter see a vet, so you know that they're healthy.
So, I'm not sure when we're going to introduce our special guest, Kermit, but you did mention that Broken Tail does help cats that may not have a chance otherwise. So, I'm not sure if any time.
Unveil him.
Yes,
this is a great
Why don't you tell us
time.
first Kermit's story? Where did he come from, and tell us what you know about his background?
Sure. So like many of the cats that we've taken in Broken Tail, Kermit is from Chelsea. He and his mom were found in Chelsea and trapped by our trapper, Carol. They then came to Broken Tail to be in foster, and he's now in foster with me. So we got Kermit when he was about 3 weeks old. And at that point we noticed something was kind of funny with him. Even at that age, that young age, kittens kind of have their legs underneath their bodies, and he had his all 4 legs straight out. And he looked like a little frog, hence the name.
So it was a mama and a kitten. That's all.
Yep,
and
just
there were no
one
other.
single kitten. Yeah.
Or if there were other kittens, we don't know.
Yeah, this was the only kitten we found with this mom. Mom was very friendly, so we brought them both into foster. So I can show you him now.
Yes. Let's see
what
Kermit.
Kermit from Chelsea. This is the unveiling.
So he's about 7 weeks old now, but you'll see he's still very small.
Oh, look at the baby.
Oh my goodness.
So, yep, that's your camera, Kermit. Look in the screen. Kermit. Kermit.
So,
Did you hear that little mew?
So he has very weak back legs.
very weak back legs. He's now been able to use his front legs, but his back legs, he still wasn't able to use them correctly.
Oh, look at the big boy.
So what the vet did, which is working wonderfully, is she actually taped his back legs together. You can see that they're taped together. And that allows him to pull his legs underneath his body into the right position. So that he can walk more normally by moving them forward instead of kind of just having them out to the sides like he had them before.
So how old is he now?
About 7 weeks.
And he still has his mama?
He is still with his mama, yeah.
It's a big boy. It's a big room,
I
isn't
know,
it? I
it's
know, this
very
big, scary
scary.
studio. Yeah. So thinking that, this show will be airing in November, or as we're approaching the holidays here, a lot of people like to adopt kittens around the holidays. What are there things that we should do when you adopt a kitten to ensure that the transition is a good one, or adopting any cat or kitten around the holidays? As an adoption counselor, do you have any advice?
Yeah, well, we never want to discourage adoptions, but we do want people to think very carefully about adopting around the holidays because it's often a really crazy time for everyone. So when you bring in a new cat or a new kitten, any new animal really, that's a big commitment. It's going to take up some time to get that cat used to living in your home. We recommend a slow transition process where you can start a cat in a single room before introducing him to your whole house. The same with a kitten, or if you're introducing a kitten to another cat, to do it very slowly. And it often takes cats, several weeks to maybe months to get fully acclimated to a new home. So the crazy holiday time where we've got a million things going on might not be the best time to do that for a lot of people. People get excited and want to adopt cats around the holidays, maybe as gifts, but we also don't allow people to adopt a cat as a gift for someone unless that person is there, because we want to make sure that who's ever getting this cat as a gift is really involved in the decision-making process, so that it'll be a successful adoption.
He really knows you as his mom. I mean, he can't keep his eyes off of you. Even though he wants to explore, but he's like worried. Oh, look at that.
Very pretty, black
He's
and
gorgeous.
gray.
Yes, he's so gorgeous. Oh,
so-
look at that.
So you said when you found him, or when Carol trapped him and Mama, that his legs and his back cutie, were splayed out. But
Yep.
I can see after 4
Yeah.
weeks, he's got pretty good
Yeah,
stability.
this tape
on
has
the-
actually only been on a week. So this is just progress after, actually they were only taped on Wednesday, so progress only a week.
But in the front too, he had an issue there, and look at him. He's
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah,
So was it
absolutely.
nutritionally oriented?
We're not
or-
really sure. I guess some cats can get this, just it can be like a birth defect that they're born with. Even puppies can get it, and it's called swimmer syndrome. I read that puppies can get it if they're like raised on slippery surfaces where they can't get a grip. But we don't really know why he had it. My guess is he was probably just born like that. So yeah, the vet said to tape them, and you can see he's already doing so much better. And he's starting to alternate them, and he should only need the tape on them for a few more days. Then we can take it off, and he'll probably be walking typically.
So if there are folks that are interested in supporting, you know, the efforts that you've had to put in for resources for his care and everything, how would they do that?
Well, they could go to our website, which is brokentailrescue.org, or they can go to our Facebook page and they could donate. We would always appreciate donations because they go to cats like Kermit, who might need some extra medical care. Our medical bills add up really quickly.
I'm sure.
Or, you know, we are always looking for foster homes for cats like him that can't go to the adoption center yet. Or we also just need people to do things like help us with transportation to vet appointments and that kind of thing.
So if you get worried about him jumping off, trying to jump off the table or anything, you can always tuck Kermit back in his
Okay.
in his
Maybe I'll hold
Hubcats
him.
branded carrier, or just hold him. and
hold
like,
you.
oh, look at that. So tell us a little bit about why you decided. You spend a ton of time with the Hubcats Chelsea committee, and so why did you choose to do that, to like spend the time with us? We love having you, don't get me wrong, but you do an incredible amount of work with us.
Thank you, Stacy. Well, when I heard that Chelsea Hubcats was getting started, I was excited because Broken Tail works mostly out of Cambridge and Somerville area, so I was excited that there was another rescue that was going to be nearby, because I think since this work is so hard, it always is better when you have other groups that you can work with. You can pool resources. You have more volunteers to draw from. You just have more expertise too. So whenever I can make connections with other groups and other people doing this work, I really want to. I want to be doing that. So that was one reason, but also because I knew at that point that we actually were at a time, Broken Tail was at a time that we didn't have a whole lot of cats. Our adoption center was empty, which was, you know, a funny thing, and it had never really happened before. So I knew that it was just a matter of connecting with groups that had cats, and I knew that there were plenty of groups that had cats, and one of those was Chelsea, because there's no shortage of cats in Chelsea. So I thought that would be a nice way to get some local cats up for adoption, and it has worked out really well.
How many cats have you taken in, do you think, approximately?
We're probably at about 100 cats from Chelsea for 2017.
That's a lot of cats.
Yeah, and then there was also more last year, and they're doing really well. You know, there's a full range of personalities and types of cats, but we're having really good luck with adoptions with them.
So if folks are interested in adopting cats that have been rescued from Chelsea, if you go to Broken Tail, odds are you're going to run across
A Chelsea
a
cat.
Chelsea cat.
Yes.
Yes.
Many of our cats in the adoption center are from Chelsea, and people always do like to hear cats' backgrounds. So we'll tell them that they were trapped in Chelsea, most likely by Carol, and they like to hear that.
We did in one of our earlier shows have Officer Texera on, and he does a great job in terms of helping the community and providing resources. In particular, I know we once had a discussion about vouchers, but I just want to make sure that it's understood that Carol's Trapping does review the status of the cat to make sure if she's trapped a cat in Chelsea that it's more than likely been abandoned or was never in a home,
Right.
As opposed to accidentally trapping a friendly cat who happens to be someone's pet who was outside.
Right.
No, she does a very good job trying to ensure that she's not trapping an owned cat. And one of the benefits of being Hubcats Chelsea is that this is our target area. We are here, and so we're the primary contact too. If somebody is missing a pet, or if they feel like they found someone's pet, we are the place to turn to because we have the resources and the contacts to get to Officer Texiera, to other organizations, to Carol that does a lot of trapping. So it's really nice having a concentrated effort too, and it's very helpful, at least from my perspective. I do want to go again on the record though, to thank Megan because it's much more than networking, obviously, taking in 100 cats, and you participate at every meeting, you're at every conference call, and so I just wanted to, acknowledge that because it's more than some of our other adoption partners by far. So thank you for that.
It's great to be involved with a group that is, so active and so many exciting things are happening. So I'm really excited about that.
If people are interested in volunteering, adopting, or donating, I know you mentioned it earlier, but is there a process that they have to go through, or is there an application online that they should fill out? Or
Yeah, so you can go to brokentailrescue.org, and there's applications to fill out whether you want to volunteer or foster or adopt. So you can get a lot of information there, or you can send us an email or message us on Facebook.
And we had also talked about transport too. Do you need volunteers to help with taking the kitties to the vet sometimes, and that kind of thing?
We always need help with that. Transporting cats, especially early in the morning, can be a hard time, but getting a cat to a vet or maybe picking up in the afternoon and getting it to a foster home in the area or our adoption center.
What are your greatest challenges being so involved in adoptions? Over the course of the last couple of years, you'd mentioned how you didn't have many cats, and now it seems like you have plenty of cats. I mean, the summer's been busy and all that stuff, and now you're sort of in a quieter period. But I'm just wondering, what do you see sort of as big challenges going ahead for cats in Chelsea, as well as sort of the general area north of Boston?
Well, with Broken Tail specifically, our challenges are often cats with medical needs. Although things are slowing down right now as far as numbers of cats, we have a very large amount of cats that have medical needs like hyperthyroidism, or they need dental work done because they're older. So those expenses, really add up quickly, and then we are quickly spending like thousands of dollars on one cat, and we want to give every cat the best care possible, but it can be challenging. So that's one thing, and then I think just sort of getting people to understand what we do and why we do it. Sometimes people don't like the fact that our cats in our adoption center are in cages for a short amount of time, but we like to tell people that this is very temporary. Cats that stay in our adoption center are adopted 5 times faster than in our foster homes.
Yeah.
So they are often only there a week, a few days, and then they go off to a home. So while we don't like seeing cats in cages for very long, it's necessary to get them adopted and to bring in more cats.
And it's much easier to see a cat and interact with it while you're maybe looking for food or some other reason when you're in the store. And I've been to that location. I recall that there's a cage, but there's like 2 compartments to it. So it's nice because it gives you, variety and an illusion of space. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to give them, they all get time out in the adoption center, time out of their cages. So they're not in the cages all day, but they also have toys and climbers and scratchers and blankets in their cages as well to keep them happy.
And you partner with other nonprofit organizations in addition to Hubcats. You had mentioned, I think earlier, you mentioned MSPCA and maybe some other organizations, because you had talked about there are some challenges because you can't have FIV positive cats at PetSmart.
Yep.
There's some challenges from your organization in being able to place those kitties that other organizations might be able to,
Yeah.
to
Would
do.
you remind us again about FIV, just in terms of?
Right, right. So FIV is feline immune deficiency virus. And then there's also feline leukemia. Those are sort of the two most common diseases that cats are what are called SNAP tested for. FIV is a disease that's transferred through severely deep bite wounds. So if you have a cat that's not at all aggressive, I have a cat named Hooch who's FIV positive, and he lives with a negative cat, and they're just fine. And so it's very hard to transfer the disease from one cat to another.
And they don't fight.
And if they don't fight, right. And but unfortunately, the adoption centers at the PetSmarts around the state don't allow for adopting out FIV positive cats. Feline leukemia is a more contagious disease, and so that's usually has a recommendation of isolation. However, there has been a program done at Pima Animal Control in Arizona where they have adopted out feline leukemia positive cats for the last 3 years into vaccinated negative households, and they've had no transference of the disease. So there is some bright news out there with the possibility that we will be able to adopt out our feline leukemia positive cats into negative households with further study and analysis, but they never have a problem adopting out their feline leukemia positive cats. But for right now, that is an obstacle that Broken Tail has, since you don't have a shelter and you have this facility at PetSmart, but it's not your own controlling the policies and the protocols.
Exactly.
So you partner with other organizations like Animal Rescue League of Boston, MSPCA. I know we had a Chelsea cat named Spider-Man who was FIV positive, who went down to the Animal Rescue League of Boston. He was adopted in 5 days. And he was a black kitty too, which people say black kitties don't get adopted. Black kitties are my favorite. So I think that they should get adopted right away.
Yeah.
So that was really good news and an exciting story. And we have so many stories. Every Thursday, we try to post on our Facebook page a happy adoption story. And so check out our Facebook page on Thursdays, and you'll get to hear some of the stories from Broken Tail, from Animal Rescue League of Boston, from our adoption partners, because we do like to follow up with the kitties that we have rescued from Chelsea and be able to sort of tie the knot and or put the bow on the package or whatever you want to say, and be able to share that everybody's found a good, happy home. But it sounds like you do have to partner with those organizations.
Absolutely, yeah. They have more capacity to reach more people, reach more adopters, and to take in some cats that we can't. So it's absolutely critical if we want all the cats that are coming to us to get adopted, we have to reach out.
But percentage-wise, too, just for folks to know, we're talking FIV and feline leukemia positive cats range in the 1% to 3% range in terms of when you're saying you placed 100 cats from Chelsea since the beginning of the year, so there's been a few that have tested positive, but it's not 30 cats. It's not a statistically high number.
Just a couple.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Spider-Man story was really, really nice. Good news. Very good news. Anything else that we should talk about with regards to Broken Tail? Broken Tail also operates in Worcester, is that correct?
We do. So we also do dogs. We work with dog rescue. I'm not involved in that part, but most of our dog rescue is sort of based in the Worcester area.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we're kind of splintered: Worcester Dog Rescue and Cambridge Cat Rescue.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I wasn't sure if you also had cats out in the Worcester area too.
If we do, they come to us. We rescue a lot of cats from the Worcester area, and we bring them to our Cambridge Adoption Center. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
So I'm just curious, where do the dogs come from then? Not Cambridge, that go out to Worcester,
No.
right?
The dogs come from shelters that are either in the Worcester area or farther out west, like TJO shelter in Springfield.
Western Mass, okay.
Very interesting. And Broken Tail's been around for quite a while?
Since 2012, I believe. Is when I,
Oh, so relatively new.
that might that don't quote me on that.
5
But
years.
our president, Joy Chambers, started it about 10 years ago, maybe.
And then you partner, sort of, you have like branches, as you just said. So that works out really well. So you're the Eastern representative.
Yes, yeah. We're really excited about our adoption center in Cambridge because it's very busy because there's so many people in that area. So we think that's why we have such good success with getting the cats adopted. We adopt out about 300 cats a year.
Do you see cats come back?
Sometimes cats come back. You know, we always want to tell adopters that if it's not working out and they've tried everything, that we will take the cat back. But I don't think the rate is, you know, any more than like a few out of, I'm not sure exactly what the rate is, but, you know, they'll come back for reasons like somebody realized they're allergic, or sometimes people's lives change and a few years later, you know, they might be moving or have a baby. So then in that case, they'll often ask us to take them back. And so we always do, and then they find a new home.
If somebody's thinking about getting a cat, what do you recommend that they get for their house to prep?
Well, you want to first make sure that you have a room that you can put that cat in to start out. If you don't have a room that you can close off, it's going to be a lot more difficult to do the introduction process. And you also probably don't want to adopt a cat that's a shy cat. Because if you're bringing a very shy cat into a very big house, he's going to disappear. He's going to hide, and you're not going to see him for a long time. And that's when people get upset that they adopted this cat who seemed friendly, but it's been hiding for 2 weeks. So then we try to encourage them again to go into a smaller area. So really think about what your small area could be first, like small bedroom or a part of a bedroom or a bathroom works great for that. So you want to think about that. You want to make sure you have basic supplies like litter box, food bowls, a bed, and you want to make sure you have a scratching post.
If you're adopting a kitten, isn't there a certain type of litter we should avoid?
They say to avoid the clumping type of litter for kittens that are young because they can eat it. So like Kermit is using a litter called Yesterday's News, which is little pieces of newspaper. And so that way he doesn't eat it, but also for him because his legs are lower in the litter box so it doesn't get stuck to his little feet. So he, you know, I don't know what his mobility is going to be like. Hopefully it'll be normal, but he might have some challenges with getting in and out of a litter box as he figures it out. So he might need a litter box that has like lower sides or something like that. Toys are important to have. It's important to have places where cats can go up high, like a cat climber or window perch.
Now, there's also horizontal scratching and vertical scratching that's important too.
Yeah, and I, you know, adopters will often ask me like, what does the cat like to scratch? And I say, you're gonna have to figure it out the hard way, unfortunately. Like all cats like to scratch different things. So cat might like to scratch the cardboard, a different cat might like to scratch a rug material. So if you can have a few different surfaces in your home of scratching posts and see what they prefer, or if they're going towards your couch, trying to find a similar material that is something like that they can scratch on.
It's so funny. I moved about 4 years ago, and previous to that, my cats loved my couches. They were like ripping them up. So, and I moved with the cat scratched couches into a new house, and they never scratched the couches.
That's really interesting.
Scratch the scratchers. They have cardboard, and then they have, you know, and they have the like Hubcats cat trees or whatever. But it's so bizarre because I'm like that. I mean, it's fine. It means the couch hasn't changed much, you know.
Yeah.
But I was like, why did you scratch it from one house to the next house? It got totally different. It was very
They were
bizarre.
disoriented when you moved it, I guess. They
And
couldn't
then they
figure out
just
where
never-
it was.
I know.
It's funny, cats. I have cats, and I give them, as Megan was saying, I give them variety. So they'll figure out what they like to use. As long as they don't use the upholstery, I'm happy. So, and sometimes I place the scratching material close to the upholstery in
Yep.
a strategic location. So, and sprinkle it with catnip. Sometimes that works.
Yep. Yep. I have one cat that goes crazy with catnip, and the other one that wouldn't even notice it if she walked as she walked through it. She wouldn't even smell it, and it's very, very funny and very interesting. So, Laura, maybe we should talk a little bit about what's going on with the Hubcats.
Well, no, can I ask
committee.
another
Oh,
question?
go right ahead. Sure.
I was thinking as Megan was talking about materials to prepare the home, and we were talking about a small room, and I was thinking about the many things that she does at Broken Tail and adoption process, because I started thinking about cats and how do you know what kind of a cat you're adopting when you see this, beautiful ball of fur who is affectionate, maybe with you when you're evaluating the cat, and then you go home and find out the cat's terrified because it's in a new place, it doesn't know what to do, and how do you evaluate matches between cats and prospective parents, given that you know very little about both of them? And I mean, you don't want to create a situation where you've placed the wrong animal in the home. So,
Well, we try to get as much information from the adopters as possible about what kind of cat they're looking for. We try to ask questions like, do you want a lap cat? Is this a cat you want to pick up? Very important to know if there's children in the home, if there's other animals in the home, how busy the house is. So taking that information and then taking our cats, we're able to kind of get a feel for how they act in the adoption center just by our volunteers interacting with them so much. We get a feel for who are the real friendly starter cats, who are the cats that will need a little more work, and who are the cats that can only really go to experienced cat people. And we try to make those matches. It's not always perfect, but then we also try to give a lot of information about bringing a new cat home and supporting them through that process. And we always say, like, the cat will not really be itself for at least a few weeks, maybe up to a month before you really see what that cat's going to be like. So to give the cat time and be patient.
okay.
It's so hard. People used to ask me, what's this cat going to be like when I bring him home? And I'm like, I don't know. I know how this cat lives with 20 other cats, but I don't. It's a challenging environment. We'll have people adopt very shy cats, and then they bring them home, and
They're totally different.
flower.
Or they can, or they retreat and become shy.
But
and,
you never know. It's so hard.
and I know, and one of the things we stress is no cat left behind. So, I hate to think that, because a cat didn't present in the expected way that, a cat would be returned, for example, because, I wanted a lab cat.
Right.
Looked like a lab cat, sounded like a lab cat, and I took it home and it's hiding, and I'm thinking, well, maybe you just need to give it more time before it presents and can be the lab cat that you thought it was. So.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So at for Hubcats Chelsea, for our committee, we've been busy working this fall, and we have our holiday auction that's been going on, and that runs from November 18th to the 26th.
Right, so you're collecting donations?
So if it's before the 18th, we're collecting donations. I mean, I'll collect donations for an auction anytime, because if I get enough donations, we can do another one in the springtime. I've always wanted to do a kitten auction. And,
not auctioning kittens,
no, but having a kitten auction where where people can buy fun-to-need items. So in the holiday auction, there'll be food will be available so people can purchase cases of food to help support the efforts. And they can purchase traps and cages and carriers. At our vaccination and microchipping clinics, we end up giving out about 30 carriers for folks that don't have proper carriers for their cats. So any donated carriers are always gratefully appreciated. Plus, we have, there's so many fosters, there's so much transfer that goes on and transport. So that's great. It's holiday time. So this is the time where we're hoping people will give donations.
So anytime between now and middle of November, you'll take donations?
Yep, definitely. Yeah. And
that's for the auction, and you'll also take donations for the cats at any time.
Definitely. And usually our meetings are the first Tuesday of every month, but I highly recommend you check the Facebook page and our website for meetings near the end of the year, because our meeting times may adjust a little bit in November and December. But then in January, we should be back on to the normal Tuesday schedule. We always need volunteers to help with fundraising, transport, so we've got a lot going on.
And we've got some good news.
Yep.
We have a Chelsea resident, Melissa Shook, who with her art group successfully raised over $1,400
Yep.
for Chelsea Hubcats.
Yep.
That was in August, so that was good.
Yep.
And we got a renewal from the Carly Foundation, so we're funded for another year to help the Chelsea Cats.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So Megan, I'm going to ask you to bring Kermit out again, and I think Kermit and I will have some bonding time because I want everybody to make sure we see Kermit. Oh, the baby. Yes, see, look, there's the camera. There's the camera.
I don't want to look at the camera.
Now, didn't you say you liked black cats?
I do.
I know.
I love him. I love him.
He's very special.
Oh. So this is Kermit.
Stacy's not taking him home tonight.
Not yet.
He's so good. How many kittens do you foster?
Right now, Kermit is the only one, but I've probably fostered hundreds of kittens over the years.
He's velcroed on me and he's on the microphone, I think. But anyway, can you help me? Thank you, Kermit. Oh. Oh, Kermit, you're so cute. You're so cute. But you need a nail trim.
Well, he needs his nails to pull along.
Oh, he needs his nails to pull along.
I have all yoga mats down so he can get a grip.
Oh, good. So it's his physical therapy.
It's his physical therapy.
Oh,
Yeah,
I get that
yeah,
now. Oh,
yeah.
he's so cute, though.
He's
He is,
really
and he's so
special.
soft. I wish we could have you all feel him and touch him. Did you touch him?
I did. He was on the
He's
table. I pet him a
so
number of times.
Incredibly soft. So, but anyway, it's been great catching up with you today, Megan. And I want to thank you so much. And I want to thank you, Kermit. Kermit, thank you so much for being on the show today.
You're welcome.
Laura, I want to thank you. Do you have any follow-up, any last-minute thoughts, anything for our audience?
I don't know. I think we covered all the, topics, and we've just been. It's really great that we got a renewal on the foundation grant, just because I think since January we've addressed the needs of at least 800, 900 Chelsea cats and dogs.
Yeah.
And we're prepared to do that again next year with assistance from the foundation.
So everybody, I'd like to ask you, please consider volunteering with us or making a donation at this time of year to help Hubcats Chelsea. And if you are interested in doing that, you can go to our website at hubcatschelsea.com. Find us on Facebook. We love people being on Facebook, so share it with your friends, please, so we can build up our Facebook page exposure. And join the team to make a difference for cats in Chelsea, as well as dogs. We always talk about cats here. We're very cat-centric, but we do help the dogs too. Our phone number is 857-776-2287, and our email is hubcatschelsea@gmail.com. Marianne is there, and she's happy to assist you. And thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Remember that no cat will be left behind in Chelsea. Thanks.